Welcome in to Monday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Ole Miss 52-3 over the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. I was going to say Winston-Salem, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons on deck. They lost by 1 point to Virginia over the weekend, 1-1 for the ACC squad there from North Carolina. So the Rebels' first road trip coming up. We're going to look at odds today for the week. We'll look at lines for the week. For people who are fairly new, we hope there's lots of you because we like new listeners. Tuesday's kind of our NFL day, so we'll hit a lot of college football today. Tuesday, we sort of go to the NFL, and then we go from there the rest of the week. So we'll talk quickly about a very short, or not quickly, we'll probably talk a little bit about a very short Lane Kiffin media op last night, specifically one question in mind from that. And again,
hold on, let me tell you what I want you to ask. Hold on.
Yeah.
Write that
Just
down.
send it over here. Send
you want
it
me to text it? How do you want me to do this?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll pull it up on my computer. So we got that. We got lines. We got whatever's coming up here today on the show. A show brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi, up and down I-55 throughout North Mississippi as well. Lunch specials, $5.69, couple sides bread, any size. Fountain drink, Sweet Daddy's locations all over the state of Mississippi. That's ribs, that's pulled pork. Let them take care of dinner for you. Really, not just holidays, not just catering, but any night. You need something quick. They can handle all the food groups and get you ready to go. Kids got, softball and soccer and all this stuff going on in the evening. So Blue Sky here in Oxford can help. And again, come to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today. I've done it several times, probably about to do it here again fairly soon. It's because the people at Clark Ford, they really take care of you. They're your truck guy. They're your car guy. You'll learn what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest will join this week on the Campbell Clinic hotline. I actually have interviews lined up today and tomorrow with guests for later in the week. From fractures, sports injuries, to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team, in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Couple things off the top, Grind. See you in the stream. How do we do on our alternative lines from Thursday night? I don't think well. And then the other thing is I don't think we took advantage of the none of the four happened for the 4 points enough. Because I got to thinking about it. So many games could have fallen inside that range on the over-under and the lines. We didn't play that well. I want to play again next week because I don't think we were completely up on the strategy that could be involved with that.
I'm not sure I was smart enough to fully understand the rules.
Yeah, if you listen to hand raised guys, you know what we're talking about. But I sort of wanted a do-over as the day was playing out on where that was coming from. Also, the MPW Digital post-game show brought to you by Realtree. That is up. We spent 4.5 hours online talking to you after the game and got a lot of good comments just through text, the message board, social media, and more. So I appreciate you guys being interactive with that. For Middle Tennessee especially, really big number on YouTube and on podcast form over the two-part. When the second part of the podcast, when it's broken up, is 3 hours and 20 minutes, you had a bit of a long day. That just kind of happened. Because I'm assuming you got done, looked up, and went, "Why?"
Yeah,
because that was 3.5 hours in at that point.
Yeah, I left the first part of it and went to my parents' house. My brothers were there and hung out.
Oh, that's right.
Hung out with them for a while and got home and saw y'all were still going. And Laura was asleep, and so I was like, "Well." Why not?
I thought we were stopping multiple times. I told Brian, I was like, "Hey, Neal's here kind of early. Like, just head out. We're fine. Like, I'm gonna do this." And then I think you were still there when Jeffrey goes, "I'll wait 5 more minutes." And because they're gonna play Hugh, and then I was gonna call Siski for just like 15, 20 minutes and go, "Hey, anything that we haven't touched on or whatever." And Jeffrey's like, "Oh yeah, I got a minute." And then I don't know. Alabama kind of had a close game going, and when that happened, they did have a close game going. And when that was going on, we're like, well, let's see what happens or whatever. And I will say this: if you're not a post game show listener, you don't listen to a lot of it. I was talking to Neal about this right before we started the show. This is about 3 hours and 35 minutes in, so do the math if you're doing it from a podcast standpoint.
Had we stayed with the Arkansas-Oklahoma State over, we would have won.
Oh.
We were close.
We would have, wouldn't we? Vandy covered, yeah, and Florida went under. Okay, yeah. That sucks. Okay. So it's like 3.5 hours in for the postgame show, and Tyler got to the point that you can understand it, but deep enough that you were impressed into some X's and O's and talking about Ole Miss and how they essentially were scrimmaging because they weren't even putting some of the pass checks in against Middle Tennessee that would have given Dart the option to simply, I think Tyler said, let the receivers just bump their head on the goalpost all night, just throw touchdowns because of the way Middle Tennessee was playing defense. They were going to run the ball, even though the alignment was saying don't run the ball, throw the pass check that would be wide open. But Ole Miss was not even giving Dart that option at the line of scrimmage to go into that. So they were just simply running the plays that they wanted to run, not the plays that Middle Tennessee was dictating off of their defense. And then he, from there, went into a reasonable explanation that idiots like us can understand on RPOs and what Dart would be looking for at the line of scrimmage as he is calling the plays and running the RPOs at that point. So if you just pick something out, do that at that juncture. It's about, like I said, about 3.5 hours in, something like that. 3:30, 3:40. I know it's earlier than 3:52 because 3:52 is where I started cutting for a quick Twitter video yesterday. So,
okay,
wherever that is.
It was about that time that I realized I was really tired.
You were yawning when we went on the video that I cut.
Yeah, the hardcore football stuff kind of goes over my head a little bit, and I admit that, and I don't know that I'm going to learn it at this point in my life.
I like hearing someone talk about it that really understands it, even if I don't completely understand it. I'm kind of like, oh, go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
It validates what I say all the time, which is I got this job because of my ability to write.
Not your ability to dissect.
Not at any point my ability to dissect film. So when I hear other journalists who I know as much football or less football than I do talk about watching the film, I giggle. It's like, you're a total fraud. You don't know what you're looking at. So stop.
Well, and you know, what's even more to that point is knowing what you're looking at on the field as it's playing out, to then understanding what options they actually had or what they were doing or not trying to do is another step too.
Precisely.
That's like the other day. I can look at it and go, well, my God, because if I had a rudimentary understanding of RPOs, and I don't really, but if I did, I'd go, what the hell's Dart doing? He's not throwing the backside slant right there. Why does he keep running into coverage? Why is he getting hit? The backside slant's right there. Why is he not calling that? And then because Siski would know more than hypothetical me in that situation, would go, yeah, they don't even have that on, boss. Like, don't even have the check in.
So it shows you that against Furman, they didn't feel like they ran the ball the way that they wanted to run the football. They want to work some things out. And so they went into this game knowing there was a 0% chance they would lose the game. Literally a 0% chance. And so they said, we're going to emphasize the running game.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to, by God, make this thing happen. And they came out of the gates running. They ran most of the day.
And then they said, you know what? Okay, we'll throw you a bone.
And they wanted to run without Dart running.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want Dart running. Lane watched that film from Furman, I would guess, and saw 2 or 3 runs. And he's like, what are we doing?
And the only way to keep Dart from running is to not give him the option to run.
Yeah, so you take it away. And so they were like, we're going to work on this. And if we bog down a few times, we bog down a few times. And frankly, they didn't bog down a few times because Middle Tennessee's horrible.
We're going to run the ball, and we're going to probably send a little bit of a message to Ulysses at the same time. Parrish is going to get his.
Yeah.
We're going to reward Matt Jones.
Yeah.
And this is how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
And then from there, yeah, Dart, go ahead and throw it around a little bit.
Because
That's
later
fine.
in the season, if you can't run the football, it's not going to be enough against the really good teams.
Of course.
And so it's about developing things, and it's all that stuff. And yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize we had Ole Miss at 49.5 and missed that by a hook.
Oh, yeah. I didn't either. I couldn't remember.
Well, that
I
sucks.
can't remember all that stuff.
Well, now I'm mad they didn't have the backside slant in. I mean, would a lane cost us $30?
I mean,
Just saying. Look, there's a lot of talk on the message board, but the truth is, all you guys always listen. I made the point that Thursday's podcast with Jeffrey. I like talking to Jeffrey and hanging out with him, but it gets good numbers is why we do it too. And Jeffrey made that conversation with Siski happen in two ways. One, he was legitimately interested. He wanted to know what Tyler thought and to explain it to him in real time. And then two, where you guys miss it is that he was more than willing to ask the questions and then say he doesn't know and go, okay, I get that. Now, hold on a minute. I don't get that. Explain it. Not everyone's willing to do that.
Mm-mm.
Not everyone's willing to go, I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't understand. So can you explain it to me, Obi-Wan?
I've told people this many, many times. I mean, it's not to kiss Jeffrey's ass, just to be honest. We're not where we are as a podcast network without Jeffrey Wright. Period. The end. Full stop. 100%. He pushed us to be better. He pushed us to invest in equipment, in technology, in intelligence. And then he's really, really good. As someone who has done daily talk radio, you have to be prepared because you just don't really know what's coming. You've got breaks. You've got to be organized. You can't just ramble. It won't work. And he works in a market where it's pretty basketball focused all year and still masters the football content.
Which is?
It's a lot.
What was that?
That's
what's ESPN telling us?
ESPN Chicago. Must be something about Caleb Williams or something.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I must have notifications on for some reason. Some show's coming on.
Okay.
But that's he's very, very good at what he does. And that's just one of those things. And I try to tell people that. And there are people that get worked up because he doesn't do this or doesn't do that. Or he's been incredible for what we've done.
Yes. I mean, he said it. He just likes hanging out, talking. But I mean, he's taking hours out of his day to do that, and that is incredibly appreciated. He could be doing something else.
And his dislike of Hugh Freeze goes beyond my situation. It was exasperated by my situation. Exacerbated. I always mess that word up. It was elevated because of what happened with my situation with Freeze. But his dislike of Freeze goes beyond that. Started before that and continued beyond that.
Yeah.
Just FYI. But what Hugh Freeze did to me in 2016 was fundamentally wrong. I'll say that. I will defend. And it's not because of me. It's because of what happened. It impacted my family. I can handle anything. But when it leads to stuff that happens to, at that point, my 15-year-old daughter, he can F off.
God, time passes. 15.
So just keeping it real. And I have no personal grudge against the guy.
God, that was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but no, Jeffrey's deal with Freeze goes beyond that.
I know we're getting, I'm one thing here, but I thought the stat was fascinating because I'm going to forget it if I go to tomorrow. So that's why I'm doing it now. I'm pulling it up to get it right. Did you watch a lot of info yesterday?
I watched.
I got one NFL thought, and then we're going to move on.
I'll tell you how much I watched. I went running, and I got back about 12:05, and I watched most of Bengals Patriots. I watched a good bit of Bears Titans, kind of off and on because we were doing some other things, and I was trying to get 10 thoughts finished. I watched a decent amount of Cowboys Browns. Dallas looked really, really good. And then I watched the first 3 quarters of Lions Rams, and I was so mad at myself that I was too tired.
Oh, really?
I knew I needed to go to bed, and I did. So I went to bed. I woke up and saw that the Lions won in overtime.
Yeah, you know, that was a weird. It's not my point. I'm going to make in a second. That was a weird game for me because I've said this forever. I pull for the Rams a lot because of Dylan. And then the Lions are probably my favorite team to watch in the NFC just because I find them really interesting and fascinating. So, like, the last night I was pretty engaged by that. I mean, I wanted the Rams to win for him, but I thought that was – Stafford looked really good. Stafford looked damn good
I thought the
night.
Rams looked really good. I thought it was clearly two very good NFL football
They're both
teams.
playoff teams.
Yes.
They're in.
100%.
The Rams are going to make the playoffs. There are not 7 NFC teams better than the Rams.
I want to watch some of the Dolphins-Jags game. That was a good game. The NFL's just –
it was a good game.
It's just such a good
Sam
product.
Darnold looked good. I know the Giants completely and utterly suck, but
that was a good game. Bills-Cardinals was a good game. The NFL just, from a product standpoint, they just get it.
So this isn't even really about the Saints, even though I'm going to be a fan for a second. The Panthers are god-awful. God-awful.
And they listen, and Tyler and I will probably argue about this today
Yes.
because Tyler's going to defend Bryce Young because Tyler, if he's nothing else, is loyal.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I mean that in a positive way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if the worst part about somebody is, man, that dude's really loyal.
Defends his dudes. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, put him in my foxhole.
Damn him. Yeah.
And Tyler really likes Bryce Young.
Yeah.
But right now,
he also has zero help. They don't have a skill position player that should be starting in the NFL.
But he doesn't look like an NFL quarterback.
I mean, the Saints are average as grits, and they won 47-10 yesterday and dominated that football game.
Yeah.
Now, the Saints looked okay.
They look good.
Even outside of it being the Panthers.
Saints get Cowboys this week, and already in a week 2 game, I'm like, I'm kind of interested to see that because Dallas looked like
they look really good.
They
got the contract done with Dak, the whole deal.
And Cleveland looked bad. Deshaun Watson looked
awful.
bad. It's a quarterback league, man.
I want to talk about Brady tomorrow, too. We'll do that. But
can I give you my hot take on Brady real fast because it's going to bubble over?
Yeah.
It was his first game.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It was his first game. He's not going to be a polished broadcaster one game in.
No.
Nick Saban, for all of the Saban love, and I have a lot of it, he has moments on game day where you can tell he's new to this.
I thought he was actually more relatable than ever yesterday because you saw it's dude in the first day on a job and had to deal with it. It was not very good. And
Anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to it tomorrow. I got multiple thoughts on him. But it's a Saints-Bucks thought because the Bucks looked pretty good yesterday too. Tampa won. I mean, all Jeffrey joke aside, I like Baker Mayfield. I think he can win the division. The Falcons panic right now should be at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
They lose this game to the Steelers yesterday. Now, Steelers really good defensively. Mike Tomlin obviously wins games.
Yeah.
But it was 18-10, I think, was what it was, what the final was. Not just Cousins being the Kirk Cousins that we always talk about and laugh about and saying he's Andy Dalton, that he's going to go get to the playoffs and then lose. This is from Phil Yates, ESPN Stats and Info yesterday. The Falcons were in pistol or shotgun on 96% of their snaps today. Of the 22 snaps out of the shotgun, the Falcons had 0 design runs. Of the 26 snaps out of pistol, the Falcons ran the ball on 81% of their plays. So 2 things there. One, they were telegraphing like crazy, and the NFL will pick that up within milliseconds.
Yes, 1 or 2 snaps.
2, he's not healthy. He can't go under center and drop back because of the foot.
Yeah.
Achilles, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Can't do it. So he's not healthy. Good freaking luck.
Look, a lot of guys, man, the Achilles is the end. It's and you're good until you're not.
So taking it a little further, Atlanta worked out of the pistol set on 52% of its plays, more than half. Cousins had never taken more than 10 snaps out of the pistol in a game during his 13-year career, and he was 2 of 4 for 15 yards out of the pistol in his career before yesterday.
Yeah.
Does not do it.
No.
It is not part of his game. And yet the Falcons exclusively relied on it yesterday to throw and run the football.
And within one series, the Steelers knew the score.
You're done.
Yeah. In that
so
league,
if he's not healthy, they're either going to play the rookie name.
I don't even know who they drafted.
Oh, hell, it's the other one.
I'm sure someone will add it in this.
Yeah, who the Falcons drafted? They drafted a rookie. Michael Penix.
Oh, yeah.
So you're either playing a rookie who didn't win it out of the thing, you paid all this money to Cousins, or you're relying on him not to be 100%. If that's the case, it's the Bucs or the Saints in the South.
I think it is the Bucs or the Saints in the South.
Yeah. Yeah, Penix, thank you. I don't know. I just found that really fascinating yesterday. Thought Atlanta had all this buzz, and they were clearly in the preseason the most talked about team. Vegas has them with the highest over-under out of that division. Now, as a what Vegas also thinks could be a really, really bad division. But, I mean, the Panthers, if you took the Panthers on your under 4.5, you feel really good because I don't see how in the hell that team wins 5 games.
Agreed. No, I don't.
I think you're already spending the money.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win 5 games
because the Saints aren't top of the league.
Some teams just aren't run well. Falcons.
There is a certain Darwinism into professional sports.
And then some teams will run really well, and they just kind of the motor is always in a certain Pittsburgh. Even when everything kind of is working against them, they
Pittsburgh, Tampa in Major League Baseball, Oklahoma City in the NBA. They do something, you look and go, hell, that probably works.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably all right.
I mean, the Thunder are a good example. They draft somebody, and you're like, huh, okay. I mean, you never just go, oh, he's going to bust. You go, oh, okay, well, maybe. Probably saw something.
Yeah. You go back to your notes one time and go, huh, what was that?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Williams at 12.
Jets 49ers got your interest tonight?
Yeah. In large part because I want to watch 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers off an Achilles. Can he play?
Grind, I'm completely with you. Broncos did fine. That's right. I thought the Broncos were interesting yesterday.
I did not see their game.
Yeah, they lost in Seattle, but I think Seattle might be a playoff team.
Chargers looked like a playoff team, by the way.
They did look good yesterday.
Already have some of his toughness.
Played
with a lot of toughness.
I'm sure your odds are worse now because they got trucked yesterday. But you could have gotten really good odds on Giants being the last team to win a game this season.
Yeah.
Before yesterday. They lose to the Vikings 28-6. At Washington, at Cleveland, Dallas, at Seattle, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, at Pittsburgh, Washington until week 10. They could go over.
Sure.
I mean, Danny Dimes, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
I don't know how you get yourself to that spot at the quarterback position. But when you do, man,
because he made the playoffs. You make the playoffs, and by God, you go, well, if you make the playoffs, can you take the next step? So let's just pay him.
But anybody who
just pay him.
Anybody who watched him could tell there wasn't another step.
Is Jordan Love okay? MCL.
Let's say it's not ACL. They've reached out to Ryan Tannehill for a few weeks.
Saw that.
Yeah, the Bengals looked awful yesterday. The fumble at the 1-yard line was a killer for them because they were about to go in and score right there and maybe be okay.
The Panthers play the Giants in week 10. So get ready for that one. It's in London.
Bengals have to play Kansas City next week.
Bengals looked bad yesterday.
They looked really bad.
Started slow last year too, but
they did, but not a great habit.
No, it isn't. All right, we'll get to college football in a minute. First, you've had Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce, but you had them covered in sauce. Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you've never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call our friends at Comer 662-8011-777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, South Haven, that area, call our friends at Southern 662-429-4429. Had a post-game column up on Saturday night. It's brought to you by Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, and more. They've got the experience, equipment, and expertise to help your property look and feel brand new. Really a lot of emphasis right now on gutter cleaning. The leaves are starting to fall. You may have noticed that. If your gutters are already full, you need to get them cleaned out. If the leaves start clogging up your gutters, well, you know that too. Also, if you are one of these people, and there's lots of you out there who have like a second property in Oxford, you haven't been up here a whole lot. Suddenly you're getting up here and you're like, oh gosh, we're behind on some of this. Get in touch with our friends at Window Hero, 662-510-7077. Set up an appointment. They'll come out, give you an estimate, get you all fixed up. You can also learn more at windowhero.com. Dead Soxy still is doing the, you know what? Remind me. I'll go back because he sent me a new reader. I apologize, Michael, if you're listening. I just remembered as we go. I'll fix that in a second. I used some of the Southern Q sauce rubs yesterday on some wings and stuff we did. They were fantastic. You can do the same thing by going to southernqsauce.com. Enter the discount code Rebel Grove for 15% off your order. Q sauce is also available locally at Oxford Meat Market, as well as Barbecue All-Stars in South Haven, Finchers in Greenwood, Martin's Market in Flora, and Gift and Art Shop in Clarksdale. I'm already lining up another MPW Digital Extra for Thursday. It's brought to you by Rustic Revivals. Based out of Flowood, Mississippi, Rustic Revivals builds tables. What'd I do?
I think there's a YouTube click. You can just hit yes if it is.
Okay. Sorry. Rustic Revivals builds. Hold on, I'm trying. Hang tight. There you go.
It's 28 if it's asking for a number.
Okay, it did. Was someone trying to get into our account?
Yes, but in a good way.
Okay.
No, it's good. It's
Gotcha.
fine. Yeah.
Husband and wife team of Josh and Ashley Pierce specialize in custom ordered tables, beds, dressers, coffee tables, bookshelves, decorative cabinets, chairs, and more. They have a limited selection of ready for pickup pieces available in their shop. Rustic Revivals delivers within 250 miles of Flowood. All pieces are sealed for protection. You can get 10% off your purchase by using the code REBELS10 at checkout. It's rusticrevivalsms.com. Check them out on Instagram at Rustic Revivals. You can also order directly by calling 228-217-1243 or email rusticrevivals@gmail.com.
Neal doing the MPW Digital Zip Up today. You're kind of doing North Face Day with the little quieter temperature outside going on.
Yeah, I was a little cool outside. Yeah, so I put on
It was good run weather this morning.
Yeah, I ran yesterday, so I did not run this morning.
Yeah,
I ran at 11 something yesterday.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, 11, not 11 miles.
No.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant 11.
No, I ran 6 miles.
Okay.
I left a little bit after 11 and finished just after noon.
Okay. We're like 2 months from Neal going, I can get that 5th marathon.
My knee's not going to
I can get that 5th one.
My knee's
We're getting there.
My knee is not going to let me do it.
You don't think so?
No. And then I can tell that I'm compensating for it a little bit because I start getting my back locks up 4 or 5 miles in. Sometimes.
Does it really?
Yeah, a little bit.
So you're kind of not very symmetrical with everything right now?
Probably not. I wish I could because I enjoy it. That'd be a lot of fun if I could run another one, but I don't think I can.
So do you want to do Lane's quotes or do you want to do lines next? We're going to do both.
Let's do Lane's quotes.
Okay. So let me find it. Let me get it. And I don't have the exact one, but that's fine. I can read the cliff notes as I was typing yesterday. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I missed this call yesterday. Chase was on the call. So every Sunday we have a media audio-only Zoom call.
That's correct.
And the design of the Zoom call originally, I think, was to take a shot at Alabama telegraphing their plays. But it's become a weekly thing, and it's supposed to be so that we can close out the weekend before. So that on Monday, today, when we get together, the questions are more Wake Forest-ish.
But they're not, ever.
I can't. Yeah, there will be questions today about Middle Tennessee, and my eyes will glaze over, and then that'll be that. I can't prove this, but I would bet a lot of money that this has also been used a time or two to plant a question because there's something that Kiffin wants to talk about.
Oh, I feel almost certain about that. Yeah.
So while I can't prove it, I would bet a lot of money.
Okay, so I'll give the setup for everybody because I was on the call. He did an opening statement. And in the opening statement, he was very complimentary of his team after a 52-3 win. He did talk about some things that needed to be cleaned up. He said that needed to be a little better blocking from the receiver position. Didn't love kind of some of the blocking from the receivers and some of that stuff. And then defensively thought that they got a little messy at times, did not play great throughout the game, which we've talked about, which we knew.
I thought they got bored.
Yeah. Obviously complimented Jackson Dart and the receivers for executing, even with it being middle, because, I mean, Jackson Dart did set the SEC record for most consecutive completions in a game and overall. He had 30 straight completions over the course of 2 games. He had 24 straight completions in the game on Saturday, and those both broke T. Martin's records from 1998. 1 pass against Alabama, 23 against South Carolina,
Correct.
and then 23 against South Carolina were the previous SEC records. And Lane justifiably pointed out that, look, that does take execution. You have to catch the football 24 times to do that.
Yes.
So that matters. As I said on the postgame show, my favorite part of the entire day was Dart being well aware of what was going on and being pissed when it was done, and the streak was broken, because the NCAA record was 26. He was 2 away, Dominique Davis of East Carolina. So that happened. And then there were just 2 questions, because for whatever reason, I don't even think our muscle memory is to use this call very much compared to today. The other question was about running backs. It came from the New Clarion Ledger writer, and it was a question. I'm not criticizing. I don't know him. I'm not criticizing.
I've met him. He's a nice young guy.
It was somebody who hasn't been around the team yet. So they, because Parrish and Bentley have been there a long time. It was about the running backs, and have you kind of figured out what their skill sets are? Well, they're not new, so Lane knows. That was not the point. But Anyway, that was the other question. But Jake Thompson from On 3, he said the question, not verbatim, the question was something along the lines of, Lane, you mentioned crowd last week, obviously more of the same on Saturday, and as the scoreboard gets in your favor and carried away, fans are leaving in the second half. Why is it so important for fans to be there in blowouts? That was essentially the question.
Yeah, the end of that question is the giveaway that it's planted.
So this is how I wrote it. Again, I do not have Lane's.
And who asked the question? It was
Jake Thompson.
It was Jake. Okay, on 3. Okay.
So I do not have the exact quote, but my typing as he was talking.
Okay.
Answer. Crowd's really important for the players coming out of the tunnel in the second half, or moving toward the end zone as they are trying to score. And I don't really understand it. If a concert is going well, do you leave? I get if the product is bad and the stadium is empty, but I didn't understand. I think it's entertaining to watch a team play well. A week ago, you hear the quarterback threw for 350 yards in the first half and had 6 touchdowns. Then you have the most accurate streak in the history of the SEC and a top 6 team in the country, and it's just frustration. I'm disappointed for the players. It was good weather. I've heard the problem is that it's too hot. I've heard that it's too cold. I've heard that it's hunting season. I don't know what the problem this week was. That's, again, a typing as he talked answer from Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. You want me to go or?
Well, I'll post 2 things with you. One, we can break down, which we're going to completely agree on, whose fault or lack of fault this is, or if there is a fault to this. We're both going to agree on this.
I don't think there's fault.
That's what I mean. 2 is why. That's actually the more intriguing question to me. Is he doing the Nick Saban thing? Saban used to bitch about this every single week.
Yeah.
Is he just simply picking this as the new thing and challenging and doing all the stuff and whatever? Or 2, and I'm not being a conspiracist, is he just planting seeds potentially?
I mean, it's possible. I don't think so.
I don't either.
I mean, I can't sit here and
go, he's been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, I can't sit here and go, no, that's not it. Might be.
He's been at Alabama for blowouts. He's been at Tennessee for blowouts. He's been at FAU, for God's sake. He knows people leave in the second half against FCS East.
Yes.
I mean,
well, we did this last year, and then when the games rolled around that mattered, people stayed. Look. All right, listen, I'm going to defend college kids for a minute. I really am. I'm going to defend college kids for a minute. Number one, a lot of the people at the football game are not there for the football. It's like when you go to a baseball game out at Swayze. Tell me where I'm wrong, Chase.
I'm with you.
Okay. If I stop time at a baseball game, if I had the ability to freeze time in the 5th inning of a Saturday afternoon baseball game at Swayze and says, what's the score? At least half of the people at the stadium would have no idea because they're not there for the baseball. They're there for the socializing. There are a lot of people that go to the football game on Saturday because it's part of the festivities. It's part of the party.
That's correct.
Okay?
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody. I mean, I wish you all were. I wish that all, however many, if there were 60,000 people. I know they announced 66. There weren't 66. It doesn't matter. I don't care. However many people were there, I wish you were all hardcore football fans who had to know everything, every single thing about the roster. We would be rich. I would be doing this show via satellite from my beach home right now. It doesn't exist like that. That's not the real world. A lot of students go to the football game because it's what you do. They go because their buddies are going. They go because they have a date and they're going. It's part of the weekend.
That's correct.
They've got the students sitting in the hottest part of the stadium. It was hot Saturday. It wasn't brutally hot, but it was hot. Now, it wasn't hot in the Grove. It wasn't hot in the shade someplace. You're at the game. I thought the students packed.
The pregame crowd was really good.
They packed it out. There was a 0% chance Ole Miss was losing. It was, 31-3 or 35-3 at the half? I don't remember.
1, I think. Yeah.
It was over. The game was over. You cannot fault people on a college campus for going, hey, do you want to go get something to eat? You want to go get something to drink? Maybe my parents are in town. Hey, maybe we could go back to the apartment. We could light the grill. We could turn on the other games. Maybe we could go up to the square. We could go to Funky's, go have a drink there, go walk around. Maybe we go back into the Grove where some of our friends are in the Grove. I don't know. There's a gazillion things.
Yeah, whatever.
There's a gazillion things. Or, hey, we really ought to stay here and let's see how the running game develops in the third. There just aren't that many people that think that way. And so it's disingenuous to go, oh, y'all are failing us. You owe it. You don't owe anything. I'm about to be consistent with this. I find it to be disingenuous when people tell people how they should spend their entertainment dollars or how they should spend their entertainment time. And then listen, here's the other part. Like, people go, well, you paid for those tickets. Okay. You paid for it. That means you have the right to leave when you want to leave. And tickets weren't expensive Saturday. Carson and one of his buddies went to the game. I bought the tickets off SeatGeek. I think fees and all, it was like $28. They left in the second quarter because they wanted to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. So those are 17-year-old kids. They left in the second quarter. The game was over. They left in the second quarter. They wanted to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and get some wings. Okay. You know what? Here's the deal. He goes to school all week. He referees soccer tonight. I'm using him as an example. He's got club soccer on Tuesday night, on Thursday night. He's busy. So he gets to the weekend. He earns his weekend. And if that's how you want to spend it, okay. And if you're the guy that wants to stay till the bitter end of every single game, no matter what, good for you too. I have no criticism of that either. But the whole telling people that they owe it to you don't. And that's disingenuous. It's just
and it's coming from a fan base that has been one of the permanent NIL programs in the country. Fans are paying a ton of money for your program.
1,000,000%.
With players.
It's the reason.
With players. That's the thing that misses Lane. If you want them to choose, you'd much rather them pay into the Grove collect them than you would stay for the 4 quarters of the football game.
Yeah.
If that's the two choices against Middle Tennessee, I mean, the roster is being funded by fans.
I mean, I think it tells you that some kids on the football team are talking about it, right? Some guys on the team are talking about it. So he uses hey, we're going to try to – he's always doing the Saban thing, trying to coach the fans.
Yeah. And he's talking to his players. Hey, I got your back.
I got your back.
I'm yelling at them.
Yeah. But I think this stuff –
they're going to have one more dud, and then unless Ole Miss just beats the absolute hell out of them, they're going to stay for Kentucky until the game gets carried away.
But if that game's a 30-point game in the third quarter, people are going to leave. They're going to go because it's an 11 o'clock game. It's going to be 1:15 in September in Oxford, Mississippi.
Weather's
it's
going to be
probably going to be hot. And so they're going to be sitting in the sun. It's going to be 1:15, and if the score's 31-0, they're going to go, hey, you want to beat the crowd and go to Funky's? When your date says to you, I'm hot, I'm ready to go. No, babe.
I have not seen Matt Jones carry the rock a few times here.
We're staying the whole way.
There's only 7 opportunities of these. I'm going to take advantage of every second of all of them because I only get 7 weekends like this a year.
Have you ever been a 20-year-old boy? When she says, I'm hot, I'm ready to go, you go. I think this is silly.
I didn't recall that. Dart griped about the fans after the Furman game.
Apparently, he said something on social media. I don't pay a lot of attention to that stuff. I'm not being dismissive. I just don't pay a lot of attention to it. To me, it's noise. But look, if you want people to stay for your game, schedule better games. But they showed up. They bought tickets, 66,000 of them. And they showed up for the most part. You've now won 2 games by a combined. I wrote it in 10 thoughts. I think it's 128-3, but whatever.
A lot.
I mean, you haven't played. You've played 2 teams that if they played every SEC team, they would have a combined record of 0-32. So I mean, I was surprised it came up. I wish from a media standpoint when hey, will you ask this, they would have said no. But our field doesn't work that way.
And I think for the most part, they will stay for Kentucky unless it's just a crazy
Of
blowout.
course they'll stay. It'll be jam-packed. It will be full. And they'll stay unless the game's a blowout. And if the game's a blowout, the Ole Miss crowd, like every other crowd anywhere in the country, will file for the exits. Some people will say, hey, let's go beat the traffic, which is a perfectly legitimate reason to get out of a stadium early.
Old Steve makes a good point. You actually skip the opener in the concert. You show up late.
Yeah.
You don't leave early, but you get there late.
You show up late.
Really, does somebody go, you know what? That first person going on, we got to be in the...
Yeah, who was it for Hootie and the Blowfish? It was the guy that Time of Your Life song. I can't think of his name. He's a one-hit wonder guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were there, but had we missed that, I'd have been good with it. And at the end of Hootie, there were people leaving before it was over because they were trying to beat the crowd. That is an existing thing. I don't know. You think Lane Kiffin? Think he stays for random 52-3 blowouts all the way to the end? Think Nick Saban would stay for a blowout to the end? Do you think Nick Saban stayed till the final snap Saturday in Tuscaloosa? Final snap?
You don't think so?
I don't know. I don't know. He had a long day.
Had a really long way.
Edwin
Bobblefish asking if it's Edwin McCain.
Edwin McCain. Yeah, whatever. I couldn't think of the name.
Close enough.
Close enough.
That is kind of his only song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you know other ones?
I did not.
Everybody knew that one, sing along.
Everybody did sing along with that one.
He at least closed with it, so like you got the most people there by the time he got to it.
I think so. Now that I
did he?
Now
he
that
warmed
I
up
think
with some
about
stuff that
don't hold me to that, but that feels.
Hey, Hootie's on next, so here we go.
It was actually somebody else was on next.
Who was that one?
Soul Collective.
Oh yeah,
they were good actually. But yeah, it's the point, right? I mean, come on.
The opener to the opener.
It's just all silly. This is a silly conversation.
It's true. I'm kind of wondering what the last time Lane went to a game in a spectator capacity, where he drove to a game, sat there, and left.
Parked his car, went to stadium,
paid, just in the turnstile.
I'm gonna guess it's been a minute, like a lot of minutes.
There's your question for today, Lane. Just curious.
Can you imagine?
When's the last time you?
I mean, if I did that, I'm picking a fight. I'm not. I get him.
It'd be hard to come off as, hey, I'm making fun of the whole thing right now.
Right.
Well, because that was. I mean, look, I admitted I probably sucked at my job last night. As the question was playing out, I went, I just don't have the energy. Like I had a follow up in my head, and I went, I don't want to talk about this topic,
right?
So I'm just not going to ask it. Because my thought was, Lane, you've sat through plenty of blowouts in your 3 years in Tuscaloosa. Did the fans stay in the second half? Is this uncommon compared to your other SEC jobs? And the answer would be no. But I'm like, I
mean, the game ended at what time? Just before 7?
Yeah. But so, I started the post-game show at 6:56.
Okay, so it was at least 3.5 hours. I mean, you want them there early, and you want them. People just aren't going to sit in a stadium 4.5, 5 hours in a 52-3 game. They're just not.
Grind's got a point. Yes, Judkins State Championship. He sat by himself for a long time.
That's a good point.
That is very
fair enough. Fair enough. I stand corrected.
Where was that at?
Birmingham Progressive Stadium, I think.
Was it?
I think so.
Okay.
Or Legion Field, one or the other.
Question your existence a little bit. You're sitting in a completely empty section at Legion Field by yourself, watching the 3A state final to wrap up there.
Well, if you weren't a SEC head coach, that would be a moment where you'd go, maybe I should reevaluate things. Maybe it's time to have some introspection.
I mean, there's no answers. Commercial breaks aren't going to get fewer. They're not going to lessen them, and halftime's not going to get shorter. So it just is what it is.
And people with little kids and stuff, when little kids start going, hey, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, there is too much dead time. I'm not arguing. And
the game goes too long. You realize it when you turn on an NFL game on Sunday that the game goes faster. It just does.
It blows.
It's different. We can have the argument. I don't really feel like it. But the point is, you go to a college game and 3 hours and 40 minutes later, there's still 6 minutes left.
I'll be honest. It's one of my favorite things about going to a game, not that I'm not covering, is I can just leave whenever I want to.
Of course.
You know what? Early fourth, 8th inning. You go, I had enough.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I got my popcorn and my Cracker Jacks. I'm all right.
Well, I mean, you go to a Cubs game, for example, after the 7th inning stretch, people start kind of heading for the exits. Maybe they're going to a bar. Maybe they're wanting to get on the L back into the city before it gets crowded. Maybe they're just ready to go. I don't know. You owe them this. What's silly? And some of this, man, is like, comes across as tense. It's just not that serious.
My only really even
lock the gates.
My only thing that goes the other way on anything even related to this is I do think people who are season ticket holders probably ought to at least try to give their tickets away if they're not going to go. That's the only time that I do feel like, what are you doing? Because there are people that will just hoard the tickets and go, no, I'd rather just tear them up. It's like, well, okay, it's your ticket, but why?
But we do see a lot of that on our board. People are trying to give their tickets away or sell their tickets.
Yeah, no, it happens. Yeah.
And there were a ton of tickets on the secondary market.
Yeah. How many you need?
I mean, because I went looking and it was like, God, really? $2? There were tickets on there for $2.
It's a good value.
Because Carson was like, hey, can you get me 2 tickets? I was like, yeah. I can handle it.
I got that.
I was like, what time did you leave? Because we left in the second quarter.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they were hungry.
What kind of wings you get?
I don't know. I didn't ask. But you can get more wings for your $1 at Buffalo Wild Wings than you can food at Vaught-Hemingway. It's what it is.
You ain't convinced him to get spicy nuggets instead. They're very similar.
We tried to have that conversation. I'm kidding. I
didn't.
I typically leave him alone. Did you get from point A to point B safely? You did. Good.
The plan is one thing. I mean, you had not to bring up the post-game show again. My favorite plant thing was actually the teleconference we had with Phil Longo when he was hired that day.
Oh my God.
And it was literally a teleconference machine on the lectern in the middle of the room.
Like a speaker.
Yeah. And we're all standing around it. And Hugh was walking up behind us, whispering questions in our ears to ask him while the teleconference was going on. It was
a weird
moment. I mean, literally, he was like right over your shoulder, like, hey, ask him about asking. It's like,
it's so bizarre. That should have been a warning sign.
In hindsight, Cal kind of wrecked some SEC teams. Like their record against the league, been pretty good lately. They went 2-0 against Ole Miss. Got Auburn on Saturday.
Justin Wilcox is a guy that sometimes I kind of wonder if you gave him some talent, what would he do with it?
He's a good coach
because he appears to be a pretty solid coach.
Yeah, really good defensive coach, especially. So, all right. We'll come back, get some line. I don't know. We'll do something. We're with you for another half hour at least. Podcast brought to you by the Citizens Bank. You're not just an account number. You're a valued member of the community. If you find yourself in the market for a loan, whether for a new car, mortgage, business, checking your savings account, they're here to help you achieve your financial goals. Stop by and visit today. That's 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E in Oxford, to discuss your options with one of their experienced bankers who values your unique financial journey and makes every moment uniquely yours. Your success is their top priority. While you're there, be sure to ask about the School Spirit debit cards and how they donate an amount per every transaction to the local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
Are you retiring soon? How long should you take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? These are some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, you can schedule a free discovery meeting and see what he can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Brought to you by Grenada Home Center. They've got paints by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paints, Farrell Calhoun, flooring of any and all types, stone countertops, whether you're looking for granite, quartz, or anything else, window treatments from plantation shutters to whatever else suits your fancy. It's Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive, Suite H in Grenada. Call them at 662-226-3127. Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a fourth-generation jeweler located at the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, and genuine stone bands, pearls, genuine color stones, diamond jewelry, and more. Arnett's offers super gifts for many occasions, such as birthdays, graduation, anniversary gifts, flexible bangles, diamond pendants, and earrings. And guys, if your wife is expecting a baby, Arnett's can help you find that perfect push present. At Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler. I remembered the Dead Soxy thing, by the way. They're having a score sale Saturday night. They're capping it at 40%. So if Ole Miss scores 40 points, you get 40% off everything at Dead Soxy. It's deadsoxy.com. If Ole Miss scores 38 points, you get 38%
Not margin,
off.
points scored.
Points scored.
Okay.
I think that's right.
Okay. No,
Let me make sure.
I believe you.
Well, I need to check. Make sure that was before I get yelled at. Yeah, for 40 points or more scored.
Okay.
Code is Rebel Grove, by the way. So if Ole Miss gets 45 points, you get 40% off at Dead Soxy with the code Rebel Grove. College Corner in Oxford. A lot of people coming up in a couple of weeks for the Georgia Southern game. If you are, stop by the College Corner. Oxford Commons right off of Sisk Avenue. 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. Also 2 locations in the Jackson area, and you can check them out online as well. collegecornerstore.com. And we're brought to you by Wonderbird Spirits, Mississippi's only gin distillery. They're located on Old Taylor Road between Oxford and Taylor, just minutes from the square. There's still several huge games in town this year. Kentucky, Oklahoma, obviously Georgia. They've got the ability to host your party if you want to have it out there. They've got 7,500 square feet of a distillery operation that you can turn into. It's beautiful. They've got bathrooms, catering rooms, tasting rooms, all part of their packages. Check them out at wonderbirdspirits.com. Follow them on Instagram at wonderbirdspirits or email them info@wonderbirdspirits.com. We're brought to you by Argent Wealth. They're based in Ridgeland, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. It's myargentwealth.com.
Just a little update here to finish the situation. You've got former Ole Miss student athlete DeSanto Rollins, as we've talked about, tried to sue Lane and everybody over the course of the past whatever. His appeal to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals following the U.S. District Court Judge Michael Mills' dismissal of his civil case against Lane Kiffin in February has been denied. The 3-judge panel found, quote, no error in the district court's determination that Rollins failed to carry his burden. So I think that closes the chapter.
Yeah, that there was never
my civics experience tells me that is the end of that frivolous lawsuit.
Very.
So yeah. Before getting into the lines, I'm just going to read the paragraph. We don't have to talk about it, but you know apparently everyone in the media was shocked except for us. I don't know why. The House settlement took a huge amount of water on last week and got hammered by that judge's ruling that it just didn't make sense because it just doesn't make sense. Now, our boy Michael McCann, who we've never had on the podcast, but we reference him like 3 times a week. He,
I think he'd come on. We should get him.
Yeah, he used to teach at MC. I don't know if he still does or not.
I'm not sure.
He says the NCAA might decide they just want to go to court now. Reading here this morning from Sportico, says the NCAA might figure it's time to make a game-breaking gamble by trying to win the House settlement in the U.S. Supreme Court. Who points out the NCAA already made sweeping concessions in the settlement. It's accepted an arrangement that demolishes its longstanding fidelity to amateurism, converts the upper echelon of college sports into a pro sports model, and obligates the association and member schools to pay $2.8 billion over a 10-year period. Therefore, stands to reason that Charlie Baker, especially if swayed by conference commissioners, prominent university presidents, and influential athletic directors, could decide enough is enough. Don't be shocked if he declares he's willing to take his chances in court. McCann goes on to submit that the case even comes before it even becomes before the Supreme Court of the United States. It's, quote, not a slam dunk. The NCAA would lose a trial. Some jurors might find the commercialization of college sports problematic and off-putting. Some might regard the transformation of college sports into something akin to pro sports undesirable, especially if they believe it would reduce academic opportunities for athletes. Jurors are ordinary people. They're not seasoned litigators who can instantly cite sports antitrust case precedent or Ivy League economists who could conduct empirical analysis on fan behavior. They often go with their gut and follow their moral compass. In the event the case does go before the Supreme Court, McCann emphasizes that while the court ruled 9-0 in the Austin case, no other justices actually signed on to Brett Kavanaugh's concurrence.
I'm sorry, you said off-putting, and every time I hear off-putting, I think of off-putting when Jennifer Lawrence was on Between Two Ferns.
Oh.
She says you should be off-putting because you're fat.
I didn't know what you were going.
He starts the interview with her going, "You're very attractive." She just looks at him. That was great. Sorry. Look, I've said this many, many times. I've been all over this. I
kind of think they can win this case.
I get a lot wrong, okay?
I think they can win.
The settlement thing was never going to go anywhere because there's no incentive for the other side to agree to the settlement.
I had lawyers seeking me out going, it cannot pass a fairness hearing because it rules out future litigation, which it cannot legally do.
Exactly.
So when it can do all this crap, but when it gets to this point, it's not possible.
Yeah, literally, I said that without talking to anybody, and 5 attorneys within a day were like, "You're right. It's never going anywhere. Please stop."
But yet the plaintiffs just kept talking and kept talking and kept talking. Every media member went, "Yes."
Oh well, you have to fly your commissioners and chancellors. You have to fly them to these. It's what's interesting about that too. They never go, "Hey, let's get together at the Hilton Garden Inn in Topeka."
That place in Covington you went to for the NCAA hearing.
It's never, you know what? Let's go to Dubuque. Let's meet in Burlington, Vermont. No. They go to Scottsdale and they stay at the Ritz. It's never.
The Four Seasons in Dallas is awesome.
It's never want to get away. Let's get on a Southwest flight and go to the Charlotte airport and meet for a couple hours. No, it's never that.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that is going on is apparently DirecTV and Disney are not that close to an answer here as they keep fighting and fighting and fighting.
What is, I mean, if you're DirecTV, someone in the room's got to be like, "Hey,
I told you that whoever that CEO is of YouTube TV, he's had a great week.
Oh.
I mean, just watching it roll in.
Fubo, all that.
We have it right here, guys.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, sure, you're 38 seconds behind on the Twitter machine, but it's all right. It bothered Jeffrey on Saturday.
The overwhelming majority of people, though, are not watching on social media. They're just watching.
DirecTV has filed a complaint with the FCC now, in which it alleges negotiations with Disney stalled because, quote, Disney insists on bundling and penetration requirements that a federal district court judge in New York recently found the context of the Venu joint venture to be unlawful, anti-competitive, and bad for consumers. Adding along with these anti-competitive demands, Disney has also insisted that DirecTV agree to a clean slate provision and a covenant not to sue, both of which are intended to prevent DirecTV from taking legal action regarding Disney's anti-competitive demands which would include filing good faith complaints at the commission. Not 3 months ago, however, the Media Bureau made clear that such a demand itself constitutes bad faith. DirecTV accordingly brings the complaint asking the commission to declare Disney's clean slate and covenant not to sue demands to be in bad faith and to take whatever other action it deems appropriate. So DirecTV going straight to whatever penalty options they have here toward Disney. So, but DirecTV's the networks hold the leverage here because they can go put it somewhere else. DirecTV has to have the programming, or it has no. So it's not fair.
So back to the other though, you think this is a winnable suit for the NCAA?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's worth fighting.
I know McCann's right, duh, but like, it is. It's just 12 people. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
With a good voir dire, maybe.
Yeah.
You're going to find people that go, "Oh, this is ridiculous." They get scholarships and they get whatever. This is stupid.
There's a lot of people that think that.
Because there'll be a lot of people that don't even understand the dynamics at all of college athletics on the jury, and they go, "Hold on a minute, what?
Sure.
Hell no."
I mean, I understand the dynamics. Sometimes I sort of think that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
It would not be difficult to find 12 people who thought this was silly.
Pitt fired their AD this morning.
What did he do?
Her.
What'd she do?
Heather Lyke. Been relieved of her duties after 7+ years leading the Panthers. Upon her arrival at Pitt in 2017, she guided our program through a unique period in college athletics, and we thank her for her leadership during that time. Her tenure included successes from football's first ACC championship, blah, 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 blah. However, as we enter a new era in college athletics, one that seems to change by the day, we need a new vision and new leader of our athletics department. So he just sent a big word salad in, and I don't know what actually happened.
Okay.
Heather probably got a buyout. She all right.
Oh, yeah, she'll be fine.
She'll end up somewhere.
Yeah.
Intriguing game on the 12th. It's Thursday night. Arizona State, who looked pretty good against State on Saturday.
Yeah.
That run game. Oh boy, Jeff Lebby got some work to do on the defensive side because
they're not good.
That was a knife through hot butter right there. Oh boy,
they're not a good team.
Texas State showed their chops on Saturday.
Oh, I know, and this coach, it's like
Kenny or whatever it is.
I think.
Yeah, they hammered UTSA.
Yeah, he's a rising star.
Arizona State -1.5 on the road at Texas State on Saturday. I got questions for the Arizona State AD while we're playing a game at San Marcos. That is my question.
G.J. Kinney.
Okay.
Was born December 1st, 1988. So he is 36.
Okay.
He'll be 36 December 1st.
Okay.
He's on some radars. That is sourced.
Okay. What radars? All the radars?
SEC radars, yes.
Okay. Let's see. Kansas, UNLV, don't care. Although Barry Odom still trucking along.
Doing really well there.
Yeah. He's a +7 at Kansas.
He's on a radar.
On Friday. Oh, I get that one.
Yeah.
That one makes sense. Arizona and Kansas State. Okay. Kansas State -6.5 at home against Arizona. That's a conference game now, by the way.
Yeah, fine.
It's in the Big 12. It's on Friday night. So you got your Friday book now. You're good. Arizona, Kansas State.
I'll be in Greensboro.
Oh. Garden spot.
Yeah.
I'm not promising anything. I'm not even trying to pressure them. But if I get a couple of our other people that are willing to do it, I may just go live during the game on Saturday because I got nothing else to do and it's going to be on. And I mean, it might be a little clunky in the fourth quarter because I got to put like the little reaction thing together, but I can typically multitask. And if anybody is on, they can gab as this game is closing in the fourth. But just keep a heads up as I update you on that as the day goes on. Oklahoma State and Tulsa, don't care. North Texas, Texas Tech, don't care. Alabama at Wisconsin, 11 a.m. Saturday from Camp Randall. They're in Madison, and Alabama is a 15.5-point favorite over the Badgers. Okay. I'm going to lay it.
I'm inclined to lay them.
Wisconsin's average. This isn't the Wisconsin with the big run game that I'm scared of a little bit at times.
And I don't really know what I think about Alabama. I wasn't blown away by Alabama on
defense
Saturday
even
night.
too.
No, I put Alabama 6th in the SEC. And I know the AP poll keeps them at 4 because AP voters refuse to look at things and then make adjustments.
You win, you stay.
You win, you stay. It's the rule.
It's just poll mechanics. It is.
I adjusted my poll. I dropped Alabama.
Okay. Illinois, a big win. Speaking of Kansas on Saturday. What?
He's done a good
He's
job.
done a good job. I'd like for him to get a little healthy. He's gaining weight even more.
He is big. I mean, he's not Mike Elko big, but he's closing in on it.
Elko looks unhealthy. He looks like he has inflammation.
Well, it's because when you're that big, you are unhealthy.
Yeah, he just looks like he has stuff. I see that in pictures. I think Florida State's fine, but Memphis in town on Saturday.
And Memphis played really well Saturday.
They did.
Yeah. No,
Florida State minus 5.5. That's it in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the matchup.
I would lay it because I don't think Memphis can do to Florida State what is necessary. But that game, keep an eye out there.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
Louisiana Tech at NC State, whatever. NC State did not play well against Tennessee, even though Tennessee looked damn good on Saturday.
Yeah, listen, maybe NC State's just going to suck. Tennessee looks real.
They do. I mean, there's no doubt. LSU, South Carolina. LSU minus 7.5 on the road in Columbia on Saturday.
So, what's Nussmeier's status? Is he good? Game day's going to be there. It'll be.
Do we know from Nussmeier?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I don't know what his status is. I thought the Sellers kid looked okay the other day. I get why they're excited about him. He is one athletic kid. He's not super accurate right now, and I'm sure that the game is really moving fast in front of him. But he is one hell of an athlete.
I'm right now saying that had more to do with Kentucky than South Carolina, but I agree with you.
I don't know. I always feel bad when I do stuff like that because it feels like I'm copping out and I'm doing that thing that I hate that our field does, which is we have a predetermined template, and by God, anything that strays from that is instead of maybe the template was wrong. Maybe we just had it wrong. Maybe Kentucky's not particularly good. We're giving Kentucky a lot of credit for a 31-0 win over a bad Southern Miss team.
We are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what did Kentucky do?
No, beat a bad Southern Miss team.
Yeah.
That was it.
You know,
a team we knew was going to be bad.
In South Carolina, we punished them for not playing well against Old Dominion in a quarterback's first start.
I see no real update on Nussmeier at all. I mean, maybe that means he's fine. I don't know, but there's been no stories written, and Twitter is not telling me anything.
It's a big moment for LSU, though. This is a big game for LSU. You lose this game, your season's got a chance to go off the rails in the middle of September.
Oh, because all the big stuff's over at that point. It's over. You're done.
You still got to play Ole Miss, Alabama. This is a big moment for Brian Kelly and LSU.
It is.
Big moment.
And if Nussmeier's banged up, even hobbled.
Yeah.
Because he's not the most mobile guy anyway.
And they'll be rowdy now in South Carolina.
Yeah.
This is a shot for them.
Because they got juiced after Saturday.
Sure.
No.
And it'll be, noon kickoff. It'll be packed.
Yeah, that kid, that defender for Carolina, that rusher.
Oh, he's good now.
He's good.
He's a handful.
Mm-hmm. So,
that is an interesting game. What time is that? That's the early game?
It's early game.
Okay, that's got Greensboro Hotel written all over it.
Yeah, that one's good. So, all right, we'll come back to the rest of the lines in a second. First, Northeast Spark, NESPARC. Couple different packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig. Their fastest option available. Actually, that 100 meg is now up to 300, same price. They're tripling the coverage there on the 100, and they have the 1 gig as well. Hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, and much more. Call them again. That is 662-238-3159.
We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about planning a trip that you want to create a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John. Just give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you options that you probably won't find on your own. 901-494-3387. Or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. We're brought to you by Corinth Dental. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using enhanced, state-of-the-art conservative procedures that will help you out. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com. I'll have a what he said, what he meant up to you later today. Might be a good bit later, but it'll be up. It's brought to you by myperfectfranchise.net. Andy Ledecky is a longtime diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So contact him at andy@myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. I'll have a mailbag to you on Wednesday. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask him how. 612-805-5929 or email Art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com. We'll have picks up on Thursday. Our boy Parham here has got work to do.
Have a bad week.
He had a bad week.
Okay.
He's dug himself a hole. Those picks are brought to you by Kaiser Flooring. Locations in Oxford and Batesville, Kaiser Flooring provides outstanding quality flooring products, installation services to residential and commercial properties, and much more. They're the best in hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and tile flooring, as well as carpeting. So get in touch with them at 662-830-3194 in Oxford or 662-371-1912 in Batesville. You can also check them out at kaiserflooring.com.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't good. That's okay. It's fine. You know,
It happens,
long
man. It's
season.
a long season. It's a brutally difficult competition, and sometimes it just takes a bite out of you.
have some bad years. I mean, you got a second place finish last year, won the year before. I mean,
You're in fifth right now.
Staying up there.
It's hard. It's hard to win.
It's not the EPL, not getting relegated. So it's.
I believe Jeffrey and Luke.
That's a thought. Could relegate people for a year.
Yeah, Jeffrey and Luke are tied right now at the top. And then
you would probably willing to get a bonus point.
Back.
You would probably willing to get a free game to the first person to get their picks in every week.
Probably.
Or the last person gets a game off.
I would absolutely be for that.
Last person that gets the picks in loses.
Except Jeffrey, because Jeffrey's busy.
Okay.
Everybody else, I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? Every Wednesday night, I might have to send the text that goes, hey, can y'all do this? Because I know what I'm going to get Jeffrey's, and I'm going to get on there like at 9 o'clock, and 3 people are in there at once because we're all procrastinating.
Yeah. And you will lose.
Luker, on the other hand, I kind of cheer for Michael because Michael's picks will be to me no later than Tuesday noon.
Okay. Yeah.
And so when he does well, I'm like, good for you.
I got you.
Yeah.
Michigan, poor guys, 23.5 against Arkansas State this weekend. The Red Wolves. Look, for a game that has a 16-point line, one that I do want to keep an eye on. Now, look, the home team's going to win, probably cover. Missouri-Boston College.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien does a good job.
Oh, it's good. Interesting game.
16.5's a lot.
It's a lot of points. Missouri has looked really good.
They have. They've quietly just throttled folks for 2 weeks.
And it's more the media narrative. This is my media thing. The media is like, well, we don't really want to talk about Missouri, so we don't.
Uh-huh.
They look really good.
They have. Let's see. Temple is just god-awful, getting 18.5 from Coastal Carolina. Texas A&M giving Florida 3.5 in the Swamp. First to 17 wins.
It's a bad night for the loser.
The loser's done.
I mean, they're probably both done anyway.
But the losers, you know it.
Yeah.
On September the 14th.
Yeah.
It's just finished.
What time's that game? 2:30?
2:30.
Okay.
What channel is that on?
ABC, I think. Or ESPN. One of the. I wrote it down. I can't remember.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
The Apple Cup is on Saturday.
I hope Washington State beats their ass.
Do you really?
Yeah. Like, hey, Neal, what game are you cheering for? Like, this is the first one that hits me. I'm like, oh, sign me up.
You do kind of want Oregon State and Washington State to just pop people.
Yeah.
No, the hell with both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oregon State. Oregon minus 13.
All right, so here I got a hot take. I don't think Oregon's very good. There's your hot take. I don't think Oregon's very good.
No, I don't either.
So we did this thing where Oregon's going to be awesome, and so by God, they're going to be awesome. They're not awesome. They're not very good. There's nothing about Oregon that smacks you upside the head and goes, woo, look at those guys.
I'm agreeing. I'm thinking as I'm doing in my head.
I mean, you can tell me I'm crazy.
No.
Because I might end up being nuts.
No, I'm thinking through his entire career. I think Dylan Gabriel's good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's elite at all. So I think they're good at quarterback, but they're not, oh, wow, they have this quarterback, so they're going to win a title.
Oklahoma let him walk.
Yeah.
He had a big price tag. They'd had him for a year, and they went, hey.
He's not worth it.
We're going to spend that money elsewhere. And that always is this giant red flag for me. Quinshon Judkins. I'm not picking on Quinshon. But if he were irreplaceable, they would have been like, look, we're going to put up with this bullshit, and we're going to give him his money. But they didn't. And when Florida State made a big run at Dart, Ole Miss said, no, we're hanging on. I think sometimes you can read into that. Just an opinion. It's not 100%, but I do think it has some validity to it.
I mean, if you look in your Missouri and Tennessee and Ole Miss and stuff, and it's why the SEC had whatever the hell they did in the SEC in the top 25 this week. Was it 6 of 8?
6 of the top 7.
7. Okay. Is that Oregon doesn't look like they're about to go to 11-1. Notre Dame gets beat by Northern Illinois. I mean, suddenly a lot of your opposition is just losing games, and Texas pops Michigan, and
Texas didn't just pop Michigan.
Yeah, it's a throttle.
I don't know how much of that you watched.
I saw the second half. I had softball practice earlier in the day.
It was like they took a sledgehammer to them.
Yeah. It's methodical.
Texas looked really good.
They did. They looked great. The backyard brawl is on Saturday. West Virginia and Pitt. Big game for Neal Brown. 2.5-point road favorite here for
he needs
Brown and the Mountaineers against Pitt. Pitt will be reeling from their AD getting fired on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to
2:30.
That's going to really affect those kids.
Tulane at Oklahoma.
Interesting.
Oklahoma's offense is not very good right now.
They're not good up front.
Yes,
which
is going to make it tough for a first-year starting quarterback.
Yeah,
it's going to make Jackson Arnold look worse than he actually is, because they couldn't score the other night against Houston. They were really bad on offense, and Tulane got robbed against Kansas State. John Sumrall's doing a good job. I know we're all blown away by that.
Shocker.
But Tulane kind of has it going. Like they have a system in place that Sumrall's been able to add on from Willie Fritz, and I know I like them, but still, like they're okay.
Yeah,
they could scare Oklahoma on Saturday.
Sure. And if they do, it's going to be a long year in Norman.
Can't take that one. Yeah.
This is where the SEC, I do this ranking thing every week. And at the very beginning, it's super easy. Like I put Georgia because Texas, Ole Miss. I have Missouri, then Tennessee, then Alabama. But whatever. You can, if you want to shuffle 2 through 6 in your hat and draw, I'm good with it. It's fine. Whatever. But after that, it gets really weird because you go LSU, benefit of the doubt. And it's benefit of the doubt.
It is.
And then after that, it's like, okay, what? Texas A&M based on?
Yeah, no.
Who is it?
Everybody has a pretty glaring flaw at that point.
Yeah.
But you go,
I mean.
And then the last 4 or 5, you go, relative to being with an SEC patch on your jersey.
Well, like Florida looks bad. Auburn looks bad. Kentucky, frankly, looked bad.
No, their quarterback play was an abomination on Saturday.
It's a weird league. Mississippi State looks bad. There's a soft underbelly to the league.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, Vanderbilt's one of the more interesting teams in the league right now. They are. They beat Virginia Tech, and then they just absolutely blew out Alcorn.
And they're going to beat Georgia State on Saturday.
I would think.
So they'll be 3-0. There's a couple games on their schedule. You go,
oh,
Auburn.
I said that last week.
Auburn.
And everybody's like, oh, you're crazy. You're an idiot. I'm like, no, I'm not.
They have the better quarterback.
For sure. Got the better coach.
Peyton Thorne.
Clark Lee, over. If you offer me Clark Lee and Hugh Freeze, equal rosters.
You know what you're doing?
All day. Because one has the ability to look at his deficiencies and say, hey, we got to fix these. Not sure the other does.
Looking for another SEC game. I'm skipping some of the other stuff. That's just not even interesting to me at all. Arkansas, UAB. Okay, UAB is dreadful.
What's that line?
It's only 21.
Lay them.
Yeah, because they're going to score a lot of points. Petrino's going to score like 45 points on Saturday.
If I'm Sam Pittman this week, I'm telling my guys, if you stop beating yourself, you can get some W's here really soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because that game at Auburn is winnable.
Yeah, just calm down. It's okay.
That game at Auburn is winnable for Arkansas.
Yeah, his biggest goal was just calm down.
And that game against Texas A&M in Dallas is winnable.
Because A&M's more rock fighty than Arkansas.
Right.
And that gives you a chance when that's the case.
So I think I always hate doing this. To me, the top teams are the most interesting. Of the middle teams, the one that might be the most intriguing right now is Arkansas because they ran up 670 yards or something.
They did.
At Oklahoma State, who's like 14th in the country. Now, Oklahoma State might be way overrated. I don't know. But they beat themselves Saturday. Muffed a punt, pick six, couple of key fumbles. Still took it to double overtime. Interesting.
If South Carolina is decent and it wasn't just a complete first game abomination, Old Dominion's at home against Virginia Tech on Saturday.
Oh.
Just put a pin in it. I want to see a final score. See what because that gives you, it's transitive, but let's see what Virginia Tech's doing a little bit to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, the body slam penalty in the overtime. They were about to hold them to a second field goal.
Yeah.
With getting the ball, go to the end zone, score, and you win the game.
Ole Miss is a 23.5-point favorite against Wake Forest.
Lay them.
That feels too low.
Lay them.
That feels too low. Virginia put up 31 on Wake. Ole Miss is about to go score 55 points.
We're doing an exchange of Q&A with Wake Forest, rival site. I'm taping an interview with him this afternoon. But one of the interesting things that came out of their game against Virginia on Saturday was Clausen saying that they struggled with tempo, and I thought, whoa.
With Virginia's tempo?
Yeah. Probably not a good sign.
Oh, that's not good.
Also, they're really worried about their cornerback play. Good luck.
Good God. It's a really bad matchup.
Yeah. Lay points.
That's 55-20. 17.
Yeah. I mean.
I do think the quarterback's okay.
Yeah, he's good.
They're pretty decent offense. And Clausen's a damn good coach.
He's really good.
Why he's still there, I guess he just really likes Winston-Salem.
That was one of my questions.
Was it? Why is he still there? He's really good.
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's done a good job there.
Vanderbilt's only a 9.5-point favorite, but they are at Georgia State on Saturday in Atlanta.
Big spot for them. It sounds crazy. That's a big spot for them. Go take care of business and win that game, and suddenly your season, you got a shot.
I like Texas with even the 33.5 against UTSA on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll lay it.
I'm just going to lay points on them until they don't cover one, and then we'll go from there.
100%.
And we'll figure it out. Mississippi State, a 9.5-point home favorite against Toledo. Is that still Jason Candle? Is he still at Toledo?
Yeah.
They're okay.
Yeah.
They're okay.
It's a weird spot, too.
They're okay.
Weird game.
If you're State, if you don't get this one, you got the really low number sticking out all of a sudden. You better get this one. And then Auburn, New Mexico, they're going to win. New Mexico's a 28.5-point underdog.
Jaden Buckley, you're not in college anymore, buddy.
What's wrong?
Well, he just took some hits. Like his helmet goes flying off. It's like, man, you need to buckle that thing down, champ.
Yeah, you can't be running around like that.
You're not.
There's grown people out there. They're going to hurt you.
That's what you watch. Caleb Williams yesterday.
Lost.
Couple of scrambles.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, everybody can run in that league. Stop.
The linebacker's faster than you. Yeah. Just quit.
You're not playing Kentucky anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody can run.
Auburn may change quarterbacks this weekend. That would be the interesting thing. So we'll see, kind of follow that as it goes on. Georgia, Kentucky.
Okay,
that's
but
what- yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
If you change quarterbacks 2 games into the season, and suddenly the quarterback is better, then the question is immediately begged: why didn't you do this originally?
Well, of course.
And the reason you didn't do it is because the other one's not as good.
I read Jay's 3-2-1 thing, and he essentially said he believes he's going to stick with Thorne because he doesn't trust the other guy to even get through progressions and like to actually handle even handle the offense at this point.
I think they're in trouble.
I do too. Thorne's bad.
I mean, I'm circling Arkansas at Auburn next Saturday. Not this Saturday.
If I told you they beat both or lost to both, you would say they lost to both Arkansas and Vanderbilt.
Yes.
If I said they don't go 1-1, they go 2-0 or 0-2.
I would bet that they lost.
You would bet they lost. Yeah, that's one. Actually, we looked at Ole Miss's schedule, and that's one you wish you had on the schedule right now. They just wish they couldn't score on you.
Well, actually, if Ole Miss, if you said, "Hey, guess what, guys? We're giving you the ultimate Christmas present. Ready? We're gonna drop Georgia off the schedule. You get to play Vanderbilt or Auburn." I'd say Auburn.
Oh yeah, because I don't have to deal with that quarterback.
I don't have to deal with the quarterback, and I don't have to deal with the Clark Lee defense.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I'll go play Auburn. I'll go over there and play them. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't want to fool with the Clark Lee defense, and I don't want to fool with a quarterback that's really, really capable of keeping his team in the game for a while.
Georgia's laying 24 against Kentucky. Just depends on what their mood is. But
Lay them.
Yeah,
Lay 'em. No, they look like a rolling ball of butcher knives.
Colorado is giving 7.5 at Colorado State in Fort Collins on Saturday.
I don't know. And you know what? I'm in the 1/10 of 1% of the media. I don't care.
You don't care. Because they're not doing anything.
They're not winning
so
any Big 12 games.
I mean, they're going to go 5-7, 6-6, 3-9. I don't know.
If you offered him 6-6 today, he'd be a fool not to jump at that, bud.
Travis Hunter's a little pissed off on Saturday.
Well, wouldn't you be?
Yeah, starting to get.
Well, you don't think someone's in his ear, do you? Hey, champ, you're a top 5 pick. Don't get hurt.
And you could have made a lot of NIL at a lot of other schools too.
Well, screw NIL when you can get NFL.
Yeah.
There aren't too many. If you're a first-round pick, NIL, it does not match up to NFL.
Yes. That's a good point. Tennessee's laying 47.5 on Saturday.
I don't care, lay 'em.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's fine.
That kid's good.
And then our late game, although I hope we don't need it. Well, no, we will need something. What we got? We got Fresno State, New Mexico State, San Diego State, Cal, and BYU, Wyoming. Okay, that's the one I'll have on then. I mean, but okay.
You could celebrate Cal a little bit.
I'm not watching Maryland and Virginia. So
God, no. I've got a 6 a.m. flight Sunday. It's one of those deals where do you even go to bed?
I think Auburn has lost 4 of their last 5 games overall, including losses to Cal, Maryland, and New Mexico State. In their last 5. I think they're 1-4 in their last 5 with losses to New Mexico State, Cal, and Maryland.
Well, I mean, look, this isn't fair because it's not apples to apples, but Brian Harsin won 8 of his first 15 games at Auburn.
He did.
You didn't.
This is our new comparing Jimbo and Kevin Sumlin's records.
Well, you know how that turned out.
Because Sumlin
turned out to matter.
Yeah, that's where we were there.
So. He was 7-8 his first 15 at Auburn.
Not good. Not ideal.
No, and he wasn't choice 1. Kiffin was.
Yeah.
And so after a while, people go, what are we doing? Now, I think he gets a 3rd year.
Yeah, I do too.
And by the way, this is where when Tyler and I will disagree about this, I have utmost respect for Tyler's loyalty. He's loyal to Freeze. They're good friends. I'm cool with it. That's fine. The people that criticize that's again, if that's somebody's worst quality is that they're super loyal, okay. But I think there's a chance that they're in trouble there.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I mean, just roll through this real fast. You look at their schedule. I'm going to give them New Mexico.
Okay.
They get Arkansas and Oklahoma at home in consecutive weeks.
Okay.
If you don't win both of those games at Georgia,
good luck.
Open date, fans pissed off. At Missouri,
loss.
That's an L. At Kentucky, toss up today.
Yeah. Whichever quarterback shows.
Vanderbilt at home.
Toss up.
Open date. They'll beat ULM, but they won't maul ULM. Texas A&M. I mean, I'd probably go A&M right now, but toss up. And then at Bama. They don't win there.
It's at, yeah. It's like 4 tosses to keep you out of just having the dreadful season.
I mean, and have a scenario where they lose to both Arkansas and Oklahoma, it's over.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I don't know that you survive over.
Because again, they're not on play. They're not on paper. They happen.
The games happen, and then it's that Oklahoma game is the 28th of September.
Yeah. It's true.
You have 2 more months of questions, and he doesn't handle questions great.
No. Doesn't like the chaos. NFL tomorrow on the show. Lane Kiffin today around 11:45 or noon. Yes.
We've also been brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. They sponsor Pete's Pigskin Preview, which we will be taping tomorrow night during the debate.
Oh.
It will be difficult for me not to be distracted, but I will try really, really hard to lock in as we get you ready for Wake Forest and Ole Miss and Winston-Salem. Ryan Geary and his partners have a local team that utilizes the strength and resources of a national firm to bring their clients an impeccable level of service. Includes access to investment strategies, portfolio managers not available to all investors. If you're interested in a no-obligation consultation or just want to be added to their monthly market update email list, reach out to Ryan Geary with Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James at 601-368-2215. Or you can email him at ryan.geary@raymondjames.com. Raymond James & Associates, Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Lane, this afternoon, content at rebelgrove.com. More stuff coming on the network. And get me back with you in the morning. Take care. Talk to you then.